Also, what I want to point out is that I don't know why people are like going above and beyond to try to make me think that I'm a prophet, right? Well, I take that back. I know why people are going above and beyond to try to make me think that I'm a prophet. It's because they're hoping that if I keep speaking like a prophet, saying that I'm a prophet, then they can try to make it look like I died and God killed me because I accidentally said something wrong or something like that. So I'm going to say this. Until I see false prophets' bodies all over this world, I'm not going to be concerned with me dying anytime soon, whether I claim to be a prophet or not. Because from what I see, we got prophets all over this world, false prophets, real prophets, and I'm not seeing either one of them die. So I'm not going to be concerned with my life being taken, whether I call myself a prophet or not, right? So you don't have to go above and beyond and go out of your way to try to make me think that I'm a prophet. I don't know who's getting these messages. All I know is just it looks like a whole bunch of chaos and confusion every time I step somewhere because somebody's still doing the stuff that I'm saying in my phone. I'm like, why are they doing that? Nobody needs to try to train me on how to be a prophet, right? That's not something that you really train for. God is the one that does that. He chooses who's a prophet and who's not. He will give you the interpretation of whatever it is. He will do it, right? You can have someone train you. It will be great or better for someone to train you. As a prophet, like many people, when they went to school, they had a trainer, like someone taught them to be a prophet, right? Like Elisha and Elijah. Elisha taught Elijah how to be a prophet, right? Because Elijah really wanted that or whatever. But it's not always the case where you will have a school of prophets, right? Where somebody be training you, because like God said, he is the one that appoints whoever, right? Just like that. Nobody needs to try to go above and beyond to try to make me think that I'm anything. I don't have anything to say until my situation gets better. I don't want to be anything. I don't want to have a title. I don't want anybody asking me questions. Everything that I will say will be directly, please go to the pastor. Please go speak with them. Please go talk to them, right? Because, if I'm going to people's churches, I tell people, please, don't come to me. Don't talk to me. Don't ask me anything. What did the pastor say? What did the pastor say? Right? When I want to contribute, I'll contribute and say, hey, pastor, I was going over this. I saw X, Y, and Z, and I just wanted to know do you mind if I add this to you, or can I ask you a question about X, Y, and Z? That's what I want right now. Can I be this right now? I don't need nobody trying to convince me I'm a prophet, right? I don't need nobody trying to convince me, right? Because the only reason people want to convince me and still convince me that I'm a prophet is because they want to try to make it look, scrutinize everything that I say. And I do mean everything that I say. So they can try to make it look like them trying to kill me somehow managed to be an accident. And it was God. It wasn't an accident. It was coming from God because I just so happened to say the wrong thing, or I prophesied the wrong thing, and I talked about false, and I ended up being a false prophet, right? I don't need nobody trying to give me dreams. I don't need nobody trying to give me visions. And also what I want to add too, by the way, many of you, since we're on the topic of false prophets, and I keep telling you, I'm not saying this in a derogatory way, right? I don't want to say it at all. I don't want to talk about it. But the truth of the matter is, anybody that God does not consider to be his prophet, he considers to be a false prophet. Okay? And even if you consider yourself to be God's prophet, and you are getting, and anybody that is receiving the wrong prophecies is considered to be a false prophet, right? Which is why you must be very careful saying that I got this prophecy from God, or I had this dream and it came from God, or God shared this. This is why I don't say my dreams came from God. This is why I don't. I don't talk about that. I don't talk about what happened anymore in the past. I don't talk about what God has showed me, anything like that, because there were so many people, witches and sorcerers, that were continuously trying to speak to me in my dreams to mix, to get the communications mixed so that I would be confused as to what's coming from God, what's not. So God stopped speaking. I asked God to stop speaking to me in dreams. I did ask him that. I said, I don't want it. Don't share any dreams with me, anything like that. Right. Because this is what's going on in X, Y, and Z. But people, what I want a lot of people to know is that became false prophets. A lot of you became false prophets through your food, right? Because the Bible says that they give your food over to idols, okay? They give your food over to idols, and then you go and you consume that food, right? And then that spirit has now entered into you. And spirits other than the Holy Spirit, because you have spirits other than the Holy Spirit, they give you certain abilities. Like they can give you fortune telling abilities, or you can consume the spirit of divination, or you can consume, a spirit of, I don't know, all the spirits that's out there, and where people talk to the dead. I don't know how to say it, but a necromancer spirit, where now all of a sudden after you eat some food, you can now see dead spirits, right? So someone watches you, they pay attention to you, they give the food that they are going to give you over to an idol before they give it to you. And that's how many of you became false prophets, because you are consuming the food and you wasn't aware what was taking place. Right. And that's another reason why I knew that maybe at some point I was going to have to go completely vegetarian. Right. At some point. But I don't have enough money right now. I tell God that all the time. I said, I know I have to be predominantly vegetarian right now. However, I don't have enough money to maintain it. Right. Because you have so many different ingredients and stuff like that. And I can't do this. So I say I eat meat every now and then. Most of the time when I eat meat, it's because my parents made it. Or every now and then I would go to a restaurant and I would say, let me get the meat because it's like a cheaper option or whatever it is. But I knew just based on that too, I said, you know what? I am going to have to be vegetarian because I know that food given over to idols allows spirits to come into you, whether you want it to or not. Right. And if you don't have a strong relationship with God to where you are continuously maintaining and praying to God X, Y, and Z, that spirit can be in you and you don't know it. Right. So when I watch people talk about idols and things of that nature, I am fully aware that what we are trying to do, we're trying to convince me so much so that I'm a prophet so that I can keep saying it because no one has ordained me to be a prophet. And the people that are in positions of authority, right? Because like I said, I don't have a platform. I just got my social media and I don't have anyone that says, no, we confirm that she is a prophet, right? Because every time she says something X, Y, and Z, there's no one that is saying that out loud. So it's just me and me basically just saying, well, God appointed me, and everybody else was like, who's your witness, right? So people are trying so hard to convince me that I am a prophet because they want me to continuously keep behaving like a prophet and keep talking like a prophet, right? And saying in the X, Y, and Z. And then they keep trying to feed me information that are false prophecies so that I can be deemed as a false prophet. That's why people are going out of their way to try to give me information and details about people's lives whom I've never met, right? Because they want me to talk about it. And then they put lies in the details so that I can say the wrong thing. And then they can say she's not a prophet at all. Now we have a reason to kill her. That's all they're trying to do, is just trying to find a way to set me up. That's it. That's predominantly it. So like I said, I don't care anything about being a prophet. I don't want a title. I don't want anything. As a matter of fact, right now, the only thing that I care about is just maintaining my relationship with God, talking to him every day, all day, and then waiting on an opportunity to get out of this situation. Anything other than that doesn't really matter to me. I don't have any prophecies, right? God has not given me any prophecies besides the stuff that I say that God has not actually revealed, but it just come to pass because the word says I've come to fulfill the word of the prophet, and God is the one that leads my spirit. So if he leads my spirit to say something and then he fulfills that prophecy, then that means that it came from God. But people are also misusing that too as well, because they're trying to make it look like every time I open my mouth, it is a prophecy. If I say I'm going to Walmart, right, to buy underwear, right? Yeah, that too. If I say I'm going to Walmart to buy underwear, it's a prophecy. She's going tomorrow at 7:00. She prophesied. No. So that's why I had to use this season where I said, well, God, I don't really want to talk in this season because people have lost their minds, and it's starting to irritate me and it's starting to get on my nerves because I can't say anything without watching people do the craziest of stuff, for no reason. If I say I'm going around a car at the end of the drive-through, somebody will do something to try to see if I'm going to do it. And then now I have to do it, right? Because I know that if I don't do it, they're just going to try to use that as an excuse to make it look like, well, she lied. She didn't do X, Y, and Z. The craziest of stuff is what's happening in my life, which is why I just said in this season, I don't want to say anything. I don't have anything to say to anybody until I get out of this situation. And it will be like that for a long time. I'm perfectly fine with being by myself. I'm perfectly fine with talking to myself. I don't have any prophecies. God doesn't give me any visions. And I'm glad. I am very, very happy about that. I'm glad that God does not give me dreams and things of that nature. And I specifically asked him for this because I had too many sorcerers and witches trying to mix up the communication in my dreams so that I would not be able to tell whether or not it was coming from God. But I still am able to tell whether or not it's coming from God. I just got tired of talking about dreams and stuff that were coming from witches and sorcerers because they bored and they continuously keep trying to perfect their craft. And I'm tired of being their little lab dog for them to figure out who got power in X, Y, and Z, So it's just irritating to me at this point, which is why I just said in this season, God help me to be quiet. So I don't have anything to say to anybody. My communication and everything that I share about God will be limited. Any scriptures that I get will be limited. And anybody that I talk to about God, I'll be like, have you heard of this pastor? I encourage you to go speak to that pastor. I encourage you to go speak to so-and-so, so-and-so. Please do not ask me anything because I have not, according to many people who still don't know what fruits actually mean. Apparently, since I have not produced any fruits according to them and what they think fruits are, then I need to just sit back and just keep praying until they see fruits in my life that they feel like they recognize, right? Because in the Bible, their definition of fruits is completely different than the definition of fruits in the Bible. But somehow it doesn't really matter because people only care to see the fruits that they know of, which is not what's according to the Bible. So until I'm able to produce those types of fruits for people to recognize, then there's no need for me to say anything. I must sit here and just keep praying and keep praying and keep praying until I get the fruits that they want to see. And then I can move on with my life.